Hey, good afternoon, everybody. We're continuing in our walk through the Gospel of Matthew here in our time together as we walk through these verses. Today's verses are found in Matthew chapter 8, and they begin in verse 14, and I just want to take a minute here just to read them to you. It says, when Jesus came into Peter's house, he saw Peter's mother-in-law lying in the bed with a fever. He touched her hand, and the fever left her, and she got up and began to wait on him. When evening came, many who were demon-possessed were brought to him. He drove out the spirits with a word and healed all the sick. This was to fulfill what was spoken through the prophet Isaiah. He took up our infirmities and he bore our diseases. We live in a world that is, and I don't know if desperate's the right word, but we live in a world that is in need of a place for hope. Whether people are sick with cancer, whether people are overwhelmed with grief and depression, whatever the ailment is, whether it's mental, emotional, or physical, people are desperate for hope. They're looking for a place to not just place that hope, but a place where that hope might actually come to fruition. And so because of that, Jesus gets credit for things that he doesn't really do at times. And so when we read passages like that, at times it's easy for us to take that moment of time and that specific prophecy that Isaiah spoke of Jesus and apply that to 2021 and to our particular instance. I think more importantly in the text, what the writer is wanting to convey to the reader is this, that there's nothing that Jesus can't do, and that Jesus does have the power to heal. He does have the ability to restore what's broken. And ultimately, that's what Jesus promises, right? Jesus ultimately promises restoration for your soul, restoration for your body. The key is that he didn't promise it in this world, because the Bible makes it clear that this world is temporary. This place of brokenness, of grief, and of pain and sorrow is just a temporary abiding place. That ultimately, God's plan to restore this planet, the heavens and the earth, to its original standard in the days of the Garden of Eden, that's the place where we realize our hope, right? Paul writes in Romans that hope that's realized isn't hope at all. It's God's hope that we continue to hope in him, that we continue to hope in the promise that Jesus will rescue and he will restore, and that he will bear our infirmities and he will heal our diseases. I just hope that we don't always get confused that that promise may not happen here, because we're all promised that it's appointed for each person to die once and then face God in the judgment. Our hope, our realized hope in Jesus won't come until we're finally restored at peace with God, standing completely healed and without any infirmities, without any diseases, in a place where there is no demons and there are no evil spirits and there are no forces of evil at work in us. That's the hope that we have in texts like that, because that's the hope that we ultimately have in Jesus. Listen, God bless you, and stay close to your Savior today.